Hey everyone, and welcome back to Talk Tickers. You know it. It's Valentine's Day. But we aren't here for chocolates and roses. We're diving headfirst into DraftKings Q4 2024 earnings call.
Yeah, forget the candy hearts. We're looking at some sweet, sweet numbers here.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking really good. DraftKings had a record year. They exceeded revenue expectations. And get this, they hit positive free cash flow for the first time ever.
It's huge. This is a real sign that their business is maturing.
Oh, yeah.
That they're finding their financial footing.
Absolutely. And we're talking a 30% jump in revenue, bringing them to a massive $4.8 billion for 2024.
Yeah. And the fact that they're generating positive free cash flow now, well, that shows that they're not just focused on growth for the sake of growth. They're really prioritizing sustainable profitability.
And how about their adjusted EBITDA? Up a whopping $332 million, while keeping operating expenses practically flat year over year.
I mean, that's incredible. It really goes to show that they're getting more efficient with every dollar they spend.
So for our listeners out there, what does all this mean for you? Well, first off, DraftKings is showing they can walk the walk when it comes to profitability. Second, this strong financial position gives them more and more ammunition to go after those ambitious goals. Think about it. They want to dominate the world of live betting. And with recent acquisitions like SimpleBet under their belt, they're crafting a user experience that honestly could be a real game changer.
Oh, and don't forget their emerging verticals like JackPocket, the digital lottery courier. They've cracked the top 5 in the App Store's entertainment category. And, that Mega Millions jackpot frenzy, that definitely played a role.
It's all about diversification.
Yeah.
They're not putting all their eggs in one basket. And now with that positive free cash flow, they have so many more options to reward their shareholders.
Right. They could optimize their capital structure, explore the debt markets, all while keeping a very responsible eye on that balance sheet.
It gives them so much flexibility. Now let's dig into the specifics of Q4.
Okay, so they reported revenue of $1.393 billion, which is a solid 13% increase year over year. And their adjusted EBITDA for the quarter landed at a healthy $89 million.
And they crushed those customer acquisition goals, fueled in part by that Mega Millions excitement. But here's a key takeaway. Their structural sportsbook hold percentage, it keeps on climbing, hitting 11.2%. That's up a significant 80 basis points year over year.
Now, some of you might be thinking, what does that even mean?
Okay, so think of the sportsbook hold percentage as the cut that DraftKings takes from every bet placed. The higher that percentage, the more revenue they generate from their core operations. So this upward trend, it's a very positive sign for their profitability.
And the good news doesn't stop there. Their early 2025 performance, it's already exceeding expectations. January's core value drivers saw a sportsbook hold percentage of 11%. In February, while it's on track for an even more impressive 13%. They are starting the year strong. Yeah, and a big part of this early success has to be their Super Bowl performance. Their app shot to #1 in the App Store sports category. It even hit #3 overall. Talk about visibility. They set a personal best for daily sportsbook handle, hitting $436 million. And Super Bowl Sunday, well, that became their highest sportsbook gross gaming revenue day ever.
All right, so we've looked at their past performance, but what about the future? DraftKings has updated their 2025 projections. And let me tell you, they're aiming high.
Oh, yeah. They bumped their expected revenue to between $6.3 and $6.6 billion.
That's right, a projected jump of 32 to 38%.
Incredibly ambitious. And they're keeping their adjusted EBITDA projections between $900 million and $1 billion.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. This guidance doesn't even take into account potential game changers, like the launch of mobile sports betting in Missouri, or any unexpected sports outcomes.
Right. Imagine the impact of a Cinderella story in March Madness. Those numbers could go even higher.
Let's break down this 2025 guidance a bit further.
Okay, so they're anticipating a structural sportsbook hold percentage of around 11%, and they're projecting a sportsbook net revenue margin of between 7 and 7.5%.
So they're expecting to maintain that current level of efficiency in generating revenue from their sportsbook operations.
Exactly. And they're also projecting an adjusted gross margin in the 46 to 47% range, with stock-based compensation representing about 6% of revenue.
All of these figures give us a clearer picture of their expected profitability.
And then there's the free cash flow projection. They're forecasting around $850 million after bridging that $100 million gap from adjusted EBITDA.
So that gives them a ton of flexibility to reinvest in the business, explore strategic acquisitions, or even return some value to their shareholders.
Potentially.
So to sum it up, they're projecting big revenue growth, and maintaining a pretty healthy level of profitability. But what does this actually mean for the average investor out there? We're going to dive deeper into that in our next segment, so stick around.
Welcome back to Talk Tickers. We're really breaking down DraftKings' impressive Q4 2024 earnings call here. And it's clear they're committed to both growth and profitability, which is a really attractive combo for investors.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's not just about chasing the next big thing. They're taking a very calculated approach, which is reflected in their strategic acquisitions. They've been snapping up companies like SimpleBet, Sports IQ Analytics, and even Mustard Golf. It's like they're assembling a dream team of sports tech.
It is a great analogy, and all of these acquisitions are about one thing: bolstering their position in live betting, which is becoming like a major differentiator in the online sports betting world.
When you think about it, live betting brings that in-the-moment thrill of the game.
Yeah.
Right to your fingertips. You're placing bets as the action unfolds. It's like a whole new level of engagement.
And remember that record-breaking Super Bowl performance, a big chunk of that was driven by live betting. As more states legalize sports betting, and as the tech behind it keeps getting better, DraftKings is really well positioned to capitalize on this trend.
And they're not just focusing on the hardcore sports fans either. We can't forget about those emerging verticals, like JackPocket.
Yeah. Their success cracking the top 5. In the App Store's entertainment category, well, that shows the potential of reaching a wider audience.
JackPocket's a smart move for sure. It gives them access to a whole new group of users who might not be into traditional sports betting, but they're definitely willing to try their luck on a lottery win. And the seamless integration with the DraftKings ecosystem, that's just beautiful.
Exactly. It's about building a complete entertainment platform that caters to all kinds of interests. DraftKings isn't just a sports betting company anymore. They're becoming a one-stop shop for all things gaming and entertainment.
Okay, so back to those impressive 2025 projections. A revenue jump of 32 to 38%. That's a bold statement. What are the big drivers behind that ambitious target?
Well, they're counting on continued strength in their core sportsbook and iGaming offerings. That means attracting new customers, keeping the existing ones engaged, and making sure those users keep coming back for more.
And remember that structural sportsbook hold percentage. They're projecting it to stay around 11%, which means they're confident in their ability to generate revenue efficiently.
Right, and their guidance also factors in contributions from emerging verticals like JackPocket. And as we talked about earlier, there's potential for even more upside if mobile sports betting launches in Missouri, or if we see some unexpected sports outcomes in their favor.
So they're projecting some big revenue growth, but what about the bottom line? How are they going to turn those gains into actual profits?
Well, they've reaffirmed their adjusted EBITDA guidance between $900 million and $1 billion for 2025, which means they're focused on keeping a healthy profit margin, even as they invest in growth.
And don't forget that positive free cash flow. They're forecasting around $850 million.
After bridging the gap from adjusted EBITDA.
Yep, which gives them a lot of flexibility to reinvest in the business, explore strategic opportunities, or potentially return some value to shareholders.
Speaking of shareholder value, DraftKings mentioned exploring opportunities in the debt markets, which is pretty interesting, especially with their positive free cash flow now. What do you think they might be considering?
Well, he said they'll initially use that debt financing for general corporate purposes, but longer term, it seems like they're open to using their balance sheet strategically to really push that growth and maximize shareholder returns. Could they be looking at bigger acquisitions? Maybe even something international. It's something to watch for sure.
Before we get too ahead of ourselves, though, we got to remember that investing in the stock market always has risks. Yeah, DraftKings is doing really well, but there are always external factors that could impact their future.
Absolutely, like changes in regulation, increased competition, even things we can't predict. All of that could affect their growth.
And it's so important to remember, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Investing in any stock requires careful thought about your own financial goals, your risk tolerance, and your investment timeline.
We always encourage you to do your own research and talk to a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
All right, so let's have some fun now. It's time for This Is Not Financial Advice, where we can let our imaginations run wild a bit. We've already touched on their potential international ambitions, but what if they take it even further? Imagine DraftKings launching their own metaverse gaming experience.
Okay, hold on. A DraftKings metaverse. What would that even look like?
Well, think about it. A virtual world where you can place bets on virtual sporting events. You can hang out with other fans. You can even own virtual assets like stadiums or teams.
Oh, wow. It could totally change the game, merging sports betting with the metaverse. They could even create exclusive NFTs for their most loyal users.
The possibilities are endless. But as always, we got to emphasize, this is purely hypothetical. There's no evidence to say they're actually doing this.
But it's fun to think about, right? DraftKings has always impressed us with their innovation and ambition. Who knows what they'll come up with next?
So another interesting point from their earnings call, their focus on optimizing their capital structure suggests they're exploring all sorts of ways to enhance shareholder value.
We've talked about their potential use of debt financing. But what other options are out there? Could they be thinking about a stock split to make their shares more accessible to a wider range of investors? Or maybe even a dividend payout to give shareholders a steady stream of income?
Those are definitely possibilities. But for now, they're just hypothetical scenarios.
Right. It's all about finding that sweet spot between reinvesting in growth and rewarding those shareholders for their investment.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance, especially in a field that's changing as fast as online gaming.
Whatever they decide. One thing's clear. DraftKings is not afraid to think big and make bold moves.
And with their track record and their dedication to innovation, they seem really well positioned to keep up this impressive growth.
Okay, so just a quick reminder. Investing in the stock market always involves some risk. DraftKings' performance has been great, but there are no guarantees when it comes to investing.
It's crucial to do your own research. Diversify your portfolio and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
And as always, talk to a financial professional before making any investment decisions.
Now to wrap up this segment, we have a thought-provoking question for you. Given DraftKings' awesome growth and their goal of becoming a global entertainment powerhouse, what do you think their end game is?
Are they aiming to get acquired by a media giant? Or are they building a legacy to last as an independent company? What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Welcome back to Talk Tickers. We've been really digging into DraftKings Q4 2024 earnings call. And it's obvious they're a company that's moving and shaking, but as we look at all these impressive numbers, it's important to remember the human side of things.
You're absolutely right. Behind all the data and the financials, there's a whole team of people who are passionate about building this platform and making it grow.
Yeah, we're talking developers, marketers, customer support agents, the people working hard to create that smooth and engaging experience. For all of you out there using it, they're the unsung heroes in this whole story.
And their dedication to doing things right, you can see it in everything they do, from that cutting-edge live betting tech to the personalized attention they give their customers. It's that focus on the user that sets them apart.
And we can't forget about the leadership team, led by Jason Robbins, co-founder and CEO. Their vision and drive and that entrepreneurial spirit have been so important in DraftKings' journey.
Totally. They've navigated a really complex and constantly changing industry, but they've stayed true to their values. That's not easy to do.
Now, beyond the people, another big factor in DraftKings' success is their constant push for innovation. They're always checking out new technologies, pushing those boundaries of what's possible in online gaming.
Yeah, you can see that innovative spirit all throughout their history, from those early days as a daily fantasy sports pioneer to where they are now, a leader in online gaming and entertainment. They've always been ready for change and disruption.
Their recent investments in live betting technology, that's a perfect example. They know the future of online sports betting is all about creating those immersive experiences that feel like you're actually at the game.
And their interest in stuff like the metaverse shows a company that isn't satisfied with the way things are. They're looking ahead, getting ready for the next big thing.
That dedication to innovation is what keeps DraftKings ahead of the curve. Okay, so it's time for everyone's favorite segment. This is not financial advice, where we let those ideas flow. We've talked about potential moves internationally, but what if they take it even further?
Okay, I like where this is going.
Imagine DraftKings launching their own cryptocurrency.
Whoa, a DraftKings coin? What would that even be like?
Evil, right?
Okay, so think about it. A token that works within their whole system. You can place bets, enter contests, even buy merch, all using their own currency. It could create a whole new level of engagement and loyalty on the platform.
That's a pretty bold idea. But it wouldn't be the first time a company launched their own crypto. And knowing DraftKings and their users and their love for innovation, it's not completely out there.
Definitely not. But just to be clear, this is all speculation. We haven't heard anything about them actually working on a cryptocurrency.
But it's fun to imagine the possibilities. It just shows how much potential DraftKings has to really shake things up in gaming and entertainment.
All right, so once again, everyone, this is just us having fun, exploring ideas, not financial advice. Always do your own research and talk to a financial advisor before you make any investment decisions.
We're just two people who love this stuff, getting excited about the possibilities.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into DraftKings, we're feeling really good about their future. They have a strong track record, ambitious goals, and they're willing to embrace new ideas. It's going to be exciting to see what they do next.
Thanks for tuning in to Talk Tickers. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media for more deep dives into earnings calls. And let us know in the comments what you think DraftKings' next move will be.
Until next time, happy investing.